Alright, welcome back guys to another class in Premium Hill Academy. Today we'll be looking at work, energy and power. When is work said to be done? Naturally, in physics, we say that work is said to be done when the force that is applied to a body moves the body a distance in the direction of the force. What that means is that for work to be done, three conditions must be met. Number one, there must be an applied force. Number two, the force must move the body a distance. And number three, the distance of the body must move in the direction of the force. So we can say work is said to be done when the force that pushes a body a distance moves the body in the direction of the force. In other words, we can say the work done is the product of the force and the distance. Now, since the force is in units and the distance is in meters, we can say the SI unit of work done or the SI unit of work is Newton meters. Or for short, we can simply say it's joules. However, there are cases whereby work is not being done. For instance, a woman carries a bucket of water and stands without moving. In that case, work is not being done. Or a boy pushing a stationary wall. You discover that work is not done. Why? Because the force is not moving the object a distance. We said that for work to be done, the force must move the object or must move the body a distance in the direction of the force. Now, with doubt out of the way, let's take a simple question to buttress our understanding of work done. A force of 6 Newton moves an object a distance of 5 meters. Find the work done. Now, in that case, we know that work done is the product of the force times the distance in the direction of the force. Since the force is given as 6 newtons and distance is given as 5 meters, the product of 6 and 5 gives us 30 Newton meters, or for short, we can call it 30 joules. You see how easy this question is. Let's take another question. Let's assume that a force of 10 Newton pushes a table a distance of 3 meters. What work is being done in that situation? Again, we know that work done is the product of force and the distance. Since the force is given as 10 newtons and the distance is given as 3 meters, the product of 10 and 3 gives us 30 Newton meters or 30 joules for short. That's the simple explanation for the first phase of work done. Let's look at resolution of forces as regards to work done. Now, let's assume we have a case whereby the force is being applied at an angle. Whenever force is applied at an angle, in physics, two things stand out. It's either we resolve the force to the vertical axis, either the force is being resolved to the vertical axis, or the force is being resolved to the horizontal axis. And most at times, in physics, the force is resolved to the horizontal axis because the force is being applied and it is moving at a horizontal surface, right? So what we do is to carry the magnitude of this force here and replace it here. The reason we are replacing the force here in this direction is so that it can be easier for us to solve. Now, since the force is applied at an angle of theta, resolving the force from this part to this part, we're going to name here as force cos of theta, right? If the force is to be resolved in the vertical axis, in this part is going to be force sine of theta. But since we are working in this direction, this part of the force is going to be force cos of theta. This situation only applies when the force applied is at an angle, right? So for us to get the complete formula for the work done, if the force is at an angle, resolving it to the horizontal, instead of saying work done, instead of saying our work done is force times the distance s in the direction of the force, it is now at an angle that has been resolved. It is now going to be force cos theta, the one that has been resolved. This one now is the force, the new force, times the distance, the new distance. That's a simple formula. So we can say work done, or WD, is equal to the force cos theta times distance. I'll show you a question to expand our understanding of what we just did. Look at the question we have on the board. It says a load is pulled 5 meters along a horizontal floor. So let's assume this is our horizontal floor, for instance. This is our horizontal floor. And this is the load. right, is being pulled 5 meters along the horizontal floor. That means it has moved from one part to another. Distance here is 5 meters on the horizontal floor, right, along the horizontal floor by a constant force of 10 Newton, which acts as 60 degrees to the floor. You see now, our force is now at an angle. And the force acts at 60 Newton. Look at it now, to the floor. So from here to here is 60 Newton. So on this direction, we're going to have F cos 60 degrees. Sorry, 60 degrees, not 60 Newtons, to the horizontal floor. Calculate the work done by the force. See how easy it is. In this plane, our work done is not just going to be force times distance in the direction of the force. It's going to be this force F cos 60 times the distance in the direction of the force. So we're having F cos theta. I said if it is at an angle times the distance, right? And our F cos theta is F cos 60 times our distance is what? 5. Right, 5 meters. Our force, our force was what? Was 10 newtons. We're given 10 newtons, so it is 10 cos 60 times 5. But we know that cos 60 is the same thing as 1 over 2 or 0.5. So with that, we have 10 times 1 over 2 times 5. If here is over 1 and here is over 1, 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5. So we have 5 times 1 times 5. The final answer gives us what? To give us 25 Newton meters, or to give us what? 25 joules. That's our answer. So final answer is either we call it 25 Newton meters, or we say 25 joules. That's our answer. Any of these two gives us the answer. So you see how easy it is now. Whenever the force is applied at an angle, acts at an angle to the horizontal, we simply resolve the force to the horizontal axis, and then use this as our value for force. Right? This is the value for the force times distance in the direction of the force, please. And then we'll do that, apply the math arithmetic sum, we're going to get that answer. Let's take 2 more questions as regard to work done. Thank you. Alright, so looking at this question, it says a constant force of 40 Newton acts on a body initially at rest. That means the body initially was at rest. Let's assume this is the body at rest, right? Initially. So for those that are familiar with equations of motion, it means that U is equal to 0. So a force of 40 Newton, a constant force, let's call this our force of 40 Newton, acts on the body. The body was initially at rest, and so when it acts on the body initially at rest, the force gives the body an acceleration of 0.1 meter per second square, an acceleration of that. So it means that the body moved a distance due to the action of the force, right? It moves a distance to another point, right? And the distance was they gave us an acceleration with which it moves. So it moves an acceleration of 0.1 meters per second square. And the time with which it moves from here to here, the time with which it moves, this is our distance. The time was what? 4 seconds. It moved in 4 seconds. So it covered this acceleration, this distance in 4 seconds, right? And it asks us to calculate the work done by the force. There's no way we can get the work done without knowing the distance. They didn't give us the distance. So our job is to get the distance of this force. I'm just trying to draw it so that you know what we are doing. So the scenario is that a force acts on the body that was initially at rest. So when the force acts on the body moves a distance, right? The body moves with a uniform acceleration in 4 seconds of 0.1 meter per second, right? But then they didn't give us the distance that it moved at. So our job is to find the distance for us to get the work done. So taking parameters, we can see for parameters, we can say that we have the force. We're given a force of 40 Newton, right? And we have our acceleration. Our acceleration of what? of 0.1 meters per second square, and we're giving our time as what? As 4 seconds. Right, these are the parameters that we're given, so I'll just circle them out. So what do? You know that from equations of motions, we have three basic type of equations of motion. We have that V is equal to U plus AT, that's our equation 1. We also have V square equal to U square plus 2AS, equation 2. And we have that S is equal to UT plus half AT square. This is equation 3, right? So of these three equations of motion, which one do you think we should use? So from this, we cannot use the first one, right? We can't use the first one in the sense that we're looking for the distance, right? So we don't need this. Number 2, we cannot use the second one because there was no time given for the second one, right? They gave us time and we have acceleration and time, right? But then we're looking for distance. So in this one, we can use the third one. This is the third one we can use, so that our S will be equal to U initially was 0 times, what's the time there? The time was 4 seconds, right? Plus half of our acceleration, which was 0.1 times our time, which was what? 4 squared. Right, so if we take that down, pardon me, I have to roll it out. I hope my line is straightened up. Yeah. So if we take that down, our distance S is going to be what? 0 plus what? Plus half of what? Half times 0.1 times what? Times 16. Alright? How did I get 16? Square of 4 gives us 16. In that, 2 here will be 1. 2 here will be what? Will be 8. So that our distance becomes what? 0 plus 1 times 0.1 times 8. If we do that, our distance is going to give us what? 0.8 meters. That's the answer for that, right? That's the distance. So it moved the distance of this, so that now we know the distance. We can now say that our work done is force times what? Times distance. Now, why are we not using the one in incline? Because we see that there's no incline. The force was not inclined. It was a constant force, right? If you look, it said a constant force, so it's a straight line force acting on it. That means our work done simply be force times the distance, product of force times distance in the direction of the force, and you can see the body moved in the direction of the force. So that gives us what? The force there is what? Is 40 Newton, right? So we have 40 times our distance, which is 0.8. If you do that, we're going to have 32 joules, or say 32 Newton meters, right? Ever one you want, whatever works for you, whatever rocks your boat, you can apply that to what you know. I'm going to be giving yet another question to buttress our understanding on work done. See you in the next video, guys. Thank you. Let's look at the last question as regards to work done in physics. Right, so the question says a box of mass 40 kg is being dragged along the floor by a rope inclined at 60 degrees to the horizontal. So let's try and draw it. This is our horizontal ground, right? The rough horizontal surface. This is our this, and this is our box, right? That is being dragged. Let's call this our box. It's being dragged, and the mass of the box was given as 40 kilograms. So we have our mass as 40 kg, right? Yeah, it's being dragged along a floor by a rope inclined at 60 degrees. So the rope here, there's a rope that is inclined at 60 degrees to the horizontal. So this is the rope inclined at 60 degrees to the horizontal, right? So let's call this our 60 degrees, right? You can see what I'm doing, right? Yeah. Between the box, okay, horizontal, the frictional force between the box and the ground. So we're giving frictional force. If there's a force dragging it there, there's a frictional force that is limiting it here. I've taught on frictional force, right? The frictional force is 100 Newton, so let's call this our frictional force, which is 100 Newton. It's 100 Newton, and the tension on the rope is 300 Newton. So we have a tension on this rope that is dragging it. There's another force here, which is 300 Newton. Right? Tension on the rope is 300 Newton. How much work is done in dragging the box through? Right. So what we need to do is to find the effective tension force, resolving the effective tension force. This is our tension force, resolving it to this as I told you, when we have angle at an inclined plane, we resolve it, right? So for this one, our tension force here is going to be T cos 60. All right, and what are we going to do? It's going to be, for us to get the effective force is going to be this force minus this force. Very simple, right? So we can say we already have this force. Let's look at the tension force first. So the effective tension force, which is what? T cos 60 is the same thing as what was our tension there? Is 300, right? Same thing as 300 times cos 60, right? And 300 cos 60 is same thing as 300 times 1 over 2. We have 300 times 1 over 2, which gives us 150 Newton there. That's what we have there, right? That's for our effective tension force. Now what about our frictional force? Our frictional force is the same thing as what? They give us as 100 Newton, right? So for us to get our effective force therefore is going to be this force minus this force, the force that is dragging it minus the frictional force. I've taught this thing before in our topic on frictional force, frictions, right? So for us to get our applied force or our effective force, our force is going to be our tension force minus our friction force, right? Tension minus friction force. So what's our tension force? Tensional force there is 150 Newton minus our frictional force there is what? It's 100 Newton. If you subtract both, we're going to have 50 Newton, right? So this now we can apply what we have. It says how much work is done. Now we cannot get the work done since we now have our force, our work done, which is now the force times our distance, right? Our force is what? 50 Newton times distance is 4 meters, right? So it's going to be 50 that we got there times 4, right? And if we do that, we're going to have either 200 joules or 200 Newton meters. So just go through it. It's not hard. Carefully look at the question. That's why I always do the question for you. Carefully look at the question and then tag it to the answers we've solved. Then you see how you can proceed from there. Hey, if this is your first time of joining our YouTube channel, please make sure you hit on the subscribe button, share the video, like the video, and let us know what you think about the video on the comment section. Thank you very much.